Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about changes I need to see in Wednesday Season 3. If they get a Season 3, I have no idea if they've been renewed or not, but if they do, some significant changes needs to be made because Season 2 just felt like it had me feeling kind of hollow. Like, I did not have that same wildness I did with season one. Season one was just phenomenal and everything, and it always trended on Twitter. Season 2, part 1, I never saw trend on Twitter. However, part 2 only did for spoilers and Enid, and that was literally it. So something has changed to where it hasn't reached the numbers the way it did 3 years ago. And so, yeah, there's too many cooks in the kitchen. So when it comes to that of season 3, here are the changes I need to be made. Do not split the season up into two parts. That was just dumb. You know, part one and part two of season two flow so much better if they were combined. When you separate them, it literally just feels like 4 episodes. And when you see certain characters don't get much screen time, you wonder what's the point in even having them on the show. And that's how it felt for the majority of like the cast and everything this season. So I really need them to stop splitting it up, and I need them not to wait 3 years in between seasons. That was just too long, and it's like 3 years and you came up with this. It's so lackluster. Speaking of which, this show has too many cooks in the kitchen. You got the two creators from Smallville. You have Tim Burton, who's the director, and he gets some input into it. The writers, and Jenna Ortega, who is the she's not an executive producer, and she's also the main star. That is way too many. Season 1 had a very clear vision. Season 2 has multiple storylines that try to combine all into one, and they try to connect everything and everybody together. That's just way too much. Now, as painful as this is going to be, Jenna Ortega needs to sit her behind down and just act. I like her. I love her a lot as an actress. She's like a really good actress, and you know I'm a huge fan of hers. But this is one of those times where it's cool that she's an executive producer because that's the smart thing to do. But she needs to stop having so much input. Basically, what she does not like, she gets. And I truly believe she helped make this season less fun. It's pretty boring. She wanted more dark and gritty. We got that to a certain degree. She did not want a love triangle, and we did not get one in the form you normally think. We technically got one in a girlmance, I guess you can call it. Like, Enid and Agnes kept fighting for like her attention to where it did feel like a love triangle, just not the traditional love triangle between a girl and like two guys and everything. Because both Enid and Agnes are obsessed with Wednesday and stuff. You literally have Agnes, who is just lonely and is a stalker, and then you have Enid, who wants to be the best friend and everything, who literally says that she's the light in Wednesday's tunnel. If that's not lesbian baiting, I don't know what is. Like, that whole thing, like the whole Enid and Wednesday thing, is kind of like Xena and Gabrielle. Two best friends who do things together but secretly are in love with each other. With the whole Xena thing, it just happened naturally. With the whole Wednesday thing, it only happened because of fan shipping. They saw how much fans kept shipping it, so that's what they kept going towards. And if it doesn't pay off, then people are going to feel baited. Jenna Ortega did not like the school uniform. She said it just makes her feel like a teenager. She's an adult, but she's playing a teenager. Therefore, you are supposed to be a teenager. Your character is still in school. But I noticed in season 2, she doesn't wear her uniform that much. Not only does she not wear it that much, but now in season 3, she's going on like a road trip to find Enid, which means she's not going to be in school and she's not going to get her uniform, and Jenna Ortega got her wish. And that really bugs me because I really like Nevermore. Nevermore is a cross between Harry Potter's Hogwarts and Monster High. You have a bunch of students with magical powers. They are different from one another, and they are in school with school uniforms and stuff. I like teen dramas. They're fun and everything, and I like magical power type stuff and magical creatures. Now, if they're going in this direction for season 3 of the road trip, then that means there's no more Nevermore and there's no reason to show the students, which is a big bummer, and I'll get into that a little bit later. Then there's the next thing she didn't like, the viral dance. It blew up. She didn't like the attention. But everybody knows since it was so big, they gotta capitalize on it. Heck, even Tim Burton did that in his Beetlejuice movie, where Jenna Ortega danced again, but it was a lackluster dance. I believe that was on purpose. Then we get another dance from her this season to K-pop music, which was unexpected, but it wasn't the viral sensation that the first one was. But guess who had the big dance number in the ballroom dancing? Enid and Agnes and everything. And it was a really good dance, but still was not of the height of the first season. And so, like I said before, if she don't like it, she gets her wish and everything. I like her, but Jenna Ortega needs to take on less movies. Between season 1 and season 2, she's been in a total of about 3 movies and everything. Maybe 4. Well, it would have been 4 if it would have been Scream. But she's been in 3 movies. She's been in Beetlejuice. She's been in that movie with The Weeknd. And that unicorn movie. Maybe something else, but I'm not sure. The problem with that, and I hate when actors don't act, so they should always act. But the problem is, this is one of the reasons why I feel like a lot of shows are taking 2 and 3 years per season, because now celebrities are no longer locked in like an ironclad contract and everything. Back in the day, if you did a TV show, like say Buffy, Sarah Michelle Gellar was locked in that contract to where she couldn't appear in that many movies. And I think I remember hearing her complain about that years ago because she wanted to do something and she couldn't. And they have to like film around your schedule and everything. So basically, I forget which movie it was, but that episode where Buffy turned into a rat, she either filmed I Know What You Did Last Summer or Cruel Intentions, because she actually had a break and stuff. And so, but nowadays, it just seems like you can be in whatever you want, whenever you want. There are people taking on multiple television shows, being the lead and co-lead, multiple movies. And so they have to film now around these people's schedule whenever that show or movie ends and stuff. They need to figure out what they're going to do with all these cast members they have created for the show. The students of Nevermore and the teachers and stuff. Pretty much if you're a teacher, you're a bad person. We know that now. But season 3, no more Nevermore. But what about the students? Well, they kind of kicked out a bunch of them and left only 3 of the side characters from season 1. And they are truly that of side characters. They actually barely get anything to do. Bug Boy barely does anything. Bianca, she's just there to recruit people for money because of the new principal. So she's barely there. And Ajax, the Gorkin, He's just there to get his heart broken and then just help out Bianca. They're barely in the show. What was the point in making us like them in season 1 if you're not going to do nothing with them in season 2? They couldn't just get rid of them because where would they go? And the actors got to get paid. So they got kind of crammed into whatever storyline just happened to be, especially that of Bianca. Bianca's storyline was stupid and pointless. It served no real purpose to the overall story of this season. The overall story of this season is keeping Enid alive and what's ever going on with Tyler and his family. It has nothing to do with Bianca, the money, the sirens, the principal, none of that. They literally just crammed her in. And I feel like the reason why her storyline just got kind of crammed in out of nowhere is because if they were to write her out the show, there would literally be no more black people. They already wrote out 2 of the other black characters from season 1. And if they were to write her out, then there would be an uproar in the black community. And they would be all like, look, we don't want her to be just the black best friend. So instead of her being a friend, period, because she doesn't even really interact with Wednesday that much, except for twice. One is to say hello, and the other one is to fence her and everything. And that's only because Wednesday had to save the day and figure out what the heck is going on with her, which just came out of nowhere because Wednesday was never investigating Bianca, never investigating the principal, never investigating all these donors and everything. So she just kind of popped in just to save the day and save the girl's mother. So they had to figure something out to do with her, and this was it. But why couldn't they integrate her more into the story? She has a siren call. She can make people do whatever she wants them to do. You know what I'm saying? And who knows who didn't really want her in there? Yeah, we all know Tim Burton doesn't like adding people of color to his projects unless he has a reason to do it, or he has a casting hard on when it comes to like Jenna Ortega. Casting her in Beetlejuice was no coincidence. And so maybe it could be him, maybe it could be a writer, who really knows, but they deserve better because they were part of the show. And speaking of them, pick what they're gonna be, their designation. Are they gonna be main cast recurring members, or are they gonna be main side characters, or supporting characters, I should say? Like, that's what they were in season 1. They, like, everybody in season 1 was pretty much a supporting character to our main star, Wednesday's Jenna Ortega. They assisted her and supported her in whatever the world she kept getting herself into. That is what you're supposed to do when you write. They clearly knew that in season 1. In season 2, they kind of flipped the script. In season 2, it feels like Wednesday is the supporting character to everybody in the show because everybody's going off in their own direction and doing what they're wanting to do. A supporting character does not have their own storylines for the most part. They just don't wander off and we see them without the main star. So that was kind of odd how like everybody started having their own little side projects. It is too clustered and it doesn't have a clear balance. Speaking of balance, they need a good balance of the dark grimness, drama, and comedy. They did it perfectly in season 1. Season 2, they hit a bit of a roadblock. This is shocking because the creators of Smallville are literally masters of teen drama. Smallville was phenomenal and everything. You go back and watch Smallville, you are literally transported back in time to the early 2000s. The hair, the clothes, the music, the scenery, everything screams early 2000s when you watch that show. And they was really good with creating scenarios and drama that surrounds that of the main star. And that's what they did in season 1, but season 2, they hit like a weird block and everything. There is still humor in season 2, yes. And some of it is quirky, yes. but something's not flowing right. The drama, most definitely, is not there. We do get these, like the once again, the love triangle drama between Wednesday, Enid, and Agnes. That is the only good drama this season. Another good drama is between Morticia and Wednesday. It's more amped up this season, but then by the second part, it kind of fades away. There should have been more dramatic beats. There should have been more between Gomez and his entire family. Gomez is just kind of there, lingering around, caring about his family, but not putting his foot down and not raising his voice. Morticia is doing all that, but she's only doing it to Wednesday. He had a problem with Pugsley because Pugsley lied and everything. Yes, the original Gomez and Morticia would never shout and yell at their family. This is not the original ones. This is a new take. So why is he so passive and so gentle-hearted and everything? And not only that, but they need to make Gomez do something. I get it. They want a female empowerment show. You get that with the dialogue. Morticia says she's the one in charge of the family. I don't see that because of the simple fact everybody knows Gomez is like one of the richest people in the world. The man's a gajillionaire. He brings that bacon home, but nobody really knows how. But he's super filthy rich. And, you know, he's the matriarch or whatever they call it of the family. Um, and so, like, she's always been more the one to, like, you know, wrangle the kids and make sure they don't go too far with their torture and everything. But he's like, literally the leader of the family and everything. Like, you know, when he puts that foot down, everybody else emulates what he does because he is, like, the father figure of that entire family. Here, it's not like that and everything. Here, he's very passive. Not only that, but in the third act of the second part, the last episode, Morticia literally tells him, go find the police. And her and Wednesday will handle this and save Pugsley. And I'm just like, really? He couldn't even save his own son? And he's the only one who's really been interacting with his son this entire time? Like, come on now. There is a Tyler problem in this second season. I'm gonna make an entire video on just that because it deserves its own like video. The entire second part of season 2 revolved around him and his family when it's not dealing with Enid and everything, and that was very peculiar. They need to figure out what the heck they're gonna do with this dude. Another problem is if you're gonna tell us somebody's marked for death, and that's literally the entire plot of season 2, then you best either kill that person off or kill somebody else off. Because they kept saying over and over, Enid's gonna die. Like, she's marked for death, and this is literally the only thing Wednesday does the entire season, trying to keep her alive. And there was no payoff for that. Because the way she was unmarked for death just kind of breezily went through the wind and everything. It's just kind of like, that's it. Like, there was nothing spectacular about it. We keep seeing her cheat death so many times and nothing happens. But then after she was no longer marked for death, then one of the Addams family was. But none of the Addams family either never died. Pugsley came close, but they saved him. They didn't even have the balls to kill him off, and nobody likes any of the Pugsleys and everything. And it's just kind of like, if you're going to tell us somebody's going to die because you want stakes in your show, and we're watching every episode to see who's going to be a goner, then somebody better be a goner. It's literally what The Flash did in season 2 or 3, I think it was, and with the whole Iris thing, and it was a big letdown. And if you are going to kill somebody, it has to be somebody we actually care about. Tim Burton needs to direct more episodes. His episodes tend to be the best ones. They feel more cinematic. They're more engaging. They're more macabre and everything because he is a legendary film director. And his episodes that he tends to direct tends to be the better ones. Do not tease us with Adam's family members that are from other adaptations, only to never show that person on screen. They teased us with Cousin It, and we have not seen Cousin It. They now teased us with Ophelia Fump, and yet we have not seen no Ophelia, except for the back of her head. The first part, they kept talking about Ophelia this and Ophelia that and Ophelia this, only to never show her in part two. What in the world were they waiting for? Unless she really is the Lady Gaga character. And if she's the Lady Gaga character, why pull this twist? It's a horrible twist and it's gonna backfire. Not only that, but don't tease us with like a famous pop singer to get her fan base up in the rut when she doesn't barely show up and everything. Because I have seen some mixed reactions about that online. Get rid of Grandmama for a while. I don't like this version of Grandmama. Yes, every version of the Addams family has been tweaked. But for the most part, I can deal with that because they're interesting. Although Wednesday's a little too grumpy this season to where she's unlikable in my opinion. But Grandmama is basically just a bad, horrible person, and the actress as well. But Grandmama is just like terrible and everything. She doesn't even really seem like she likes her family, and she's being set up to be a major villain. Enough with CGI monsters, go back to being practical. Put a person in a suit and just have them monster it up. These CGI monsters look like CGI monsters. They look like CGI goopity goop. The designs are cool looking, but they just look like shiny, rubbery goopity goop. And it's embarrassing to watch when you see a show like this. It will also cut the budget down, and it wouldn't have to take 3 years for the show to come out because there'll be less CGI to do. Speaking of that 3 years, they gotta tone down Wednesday. She's too angry, too grumpy, and too nasty this season. The first season, she was fine. Yes, she was angry. Yes, she was grumpy. Yes, she was moody. But there was a likability about her. There was some quirkiness to her. She would smile when, not just when she sees certain family members, but like when she got you in a gotcha kind of moment, like the Pilgrim type thing. Here is just kind of like whatever. She's just pissed. And I mean, she's just pissed non-stop and everything. They need more than 8 episodes, and we need to see her more episodically solving crimes with her special ability. That was the punchline and the big tagaway line of this series, that she uses her special abilities to solve crimes. I didn't think it was going to be an overarching story plot and everything. I thought it was going to at least be episodic or something. Fans wanted the Addams family more, and they got that in season 2. And for the most part, a couple of the members got integrated very nicely to the plot of the show. But now they're gone. Season 3 is only going to have Fester and Wednesday on a road trip. We'll probably see the other ones in like a cameo. So just give them their own Addams Family show that's separate from the Wednesday show. Or show the kids when they was younger. Young Wednesday Addams was hilarious. She's always getting into mischief with that of like Uncle Fester or Pugsley and stuff. But we only get to see it in very brief flashbacks. I want to see what the heck made her so moody, because the young version is a cross between like the original one from the black and white television show and a little bit of Christina Ricci and stuff. I need Wednesday to start wearing her traditional black dress, or a variation of it that's more closely resembled to it. I don't need like her wearing pants or her wearing shorts. That's just kind of weird. I also don't need too much, like, color in her outfit. Like, she wore this one that's very similar, but it had a lot of white to it in the shirt, and it was just too much. It made her look happy and stuff. Same thing, kind of like with Morticia. Yeah, I didn't particularly like every outfit she had. The ones that were more closer to her original one is fine, just take out the red. But when she wore that pantsuit and the hat, that was a bit much. I mean, Gomez and Pugsley, they literally kept them in the same outfits the entire season, so why not the women? Stop connecting everybody. I really need everybody to stop being related to each other or dated each other or roommates with each other or that used to be my hand or something. Like, it's too much connectiveness and stuff. And I just need that to stop because that is the most laziest writing I've ever seen. Okay, this is the last one. Bring back the other Addams Family cast members to appear in this show while they are still alive. Ashner, like the original Gomez, bring that dude back before he's dead, because he's really old. Bring back Angelica Houston back before she keeps filling her face too much to where it's unrecognizable. Definitely bring back the Wednesday and the Morticia of the new Addams Family. And of course, don't leave out the other Gomez from that show as well, because a lot of the Addams Family cast members are actually dead. And I mean a lot, and not just from the original television series. Like, there's a good couple of them from the new Addams Family and the Addams Family reunion movie. So if this show gets a third season, I need some things to change, all right? I need more of the kookiness. I need more of antics from, like, Wednesday, like how she was in season 1. They need to infuse more quirkiness into it. For whatever reason, Jenna just wants this show to be dark and grim with no love, no this, that, or no school and this and that. But that's what helped make first season so good and everything. And she doesn't understand that because she's an actress and stuff. She didn't bother to truly pay attention to what the fans like. It's just basically if something irritated her, she didn't want it in the show no more. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.